Hello friends, and welcome to Towne Yoga. My name is Amy Towne, and today we're going to do a very gentle yoga practice that focuses on gentle stretching and gentle strengthening with keeping in mind chronic pain. So this is actually practice 1 of a 10 practice series, and these will be 10-minute practices that focus on just those things I mentioned: gentle strengthening and stretching of your body. So this is maintenance work. This is stuff that you can do every day, maybe every other day, very mindfully as you navigate your way through chronic pain, whatever form it might be in. Yoga is a great practice for pain, a great practice for weight loss, a great practice for you name it. But the thing is, it's different types of yoga to serve different parts of your life. And this yoga is really going to be centered around managing or maybe even preventing chronic pain with a gentle practice. So if you'd like to join, just go ahead and clear some space for yourself. A mat would be great, but it's not really required. If you have a blanket or a towel that you can lay on the floor, that's great. We will come to kneeling at the end of our practice for some cat-cows, so if you have sensitive knees, you might want to have a blanket or a pillow nearby to place underneath them. And then we'll come down to laying on our back, so any way you'd like to get there, just gently ease yourself down. And we'll start with knees bent, so you can just let your feet plant in front of your hips. And you can point your knees up towards the sky or let them fall in towards each other. You can leave your palms face up or down by your sides, or maybe you rest your hands in your belly if that feels best. Take some time to fidget, to move around, squirm it out. Mindfully, kind of finding a place where maybe your low back can relax down. If your neck isn't comfortable, you can try a pillow or a blanket underneath that for a little support. And when you do get into a position that has reduced pain, just pause and feel a few rounds of breath here, checking in with your body today. And as you take a few rounds of breath here, try not to be too judgmental to your pain. Instead, just kind of feel what it's like today, more from an objective observer standpoint, as best you can. And we're going to bring attention to our small spaces today, our little joints to start. So when you're ready, go ahead and hug your knees up towards your armpits, bringing a hand to either shin. And then send one leg straight up towards the sky, and then the other to come match it. And you want to have your heels close to over your hips. Your legs can be straight, or maybe you still have a deep bend in your knee and you gently straighten as we go. Wherever you are today, take your attention first to your toes and just give them a little wiggle. And then we'll come up to our ankles. As you inhale and draw your toes back towards your shin, not forcing, just gently flexing the muscles in the front of your leg here. And as you exhale, point your toes to the sky. Inhale, draw your toes back towards your shin, stretching through the bottoms of your feet. Exhale, toes to sky. Inhale, draw your toes back. Maybe hold for a breath here and let the stretch travel over your heels to the backs of your legs. Releasing, exhale, toes to sky. Inhale, toes to your shins, and then maybe just circle, taking any little movement here that feels good. Embracing any little cracks or creaks as you bring some healthy fluid into your ankle joint. Pausing for a moment here. Bend your knees back towards your armpits. And we're going to just bend and straighten a few times, bringing some fluid into our knee. So as you inhale, reach your feet to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees towards your armpits. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend in. And take one or two more here. Just letting our knees bend and extend without any weight on them, or at least not a lot of weight. The next time your knees bend in, take your hands to your shins and just draw circles with your legs. Maybe you separate them apart and then bring them back together. Maybe you keep them together and just circle one way. We're just bringing a little bit of movement into our hips and low back here. And just move in any way that feels good here in your hips, honoring your intuition. Before slowly finding stillness again with your knees hugged in. We're going to take a round of windshield wipers. So set your feet down, but instead of setting them in front of your hips, set them a little wider than your hips, knees up towards the sky. Take your arms out to a T with your palms face up. Or you can bend at your elbows to cactus if that feels good, yogi's choice. And as you exhale, lower both knees over to one side, letting the opposite hip come up. And maybe you come all the way to the ground, maybe you don't. Don't force it. Inhale back to center. Exhale, send your knees to the opposite side, not forcing them down to the earth. Inhale up. And just take a few breaths side to side, exhaling off to one. The opposite hip kind of lifts a bit. Inhale, center. Exhale to the side. One of the beautiful things of yoga is each breath can kind of guide a posture. So maybe each time you exhale, you just feel what's best, how low it is to go for you, to get a nice stretch, but without pain. Take one or two more rounds of windshield wipers, as slow or as fast as feels good to you. And then begin to play with how far apart your feet are. Maybe you take them a little further together and see how that feels moving side to side. For some people it'll not feel so great, for some it might feel better, and that's kind of the purpose of these practices, is to explore. The next time your knees come up towards the center, take them back in towards your chest and give yourself a little rock side to side, massaging out your low back again. Pausing in stillness, set your feet down in front of your hips just to rest, your knees to the sky or falling in towards each other. And now we're going to bring attention to our hands here, reaching your arms over your chest, your fingers pointing up towards the sky. And your palms can face into each other or face away, yogi's choice. Just give your fingers a little wiggle. Maybe make a fist and then open out. And then bring your hands to a fist and just draw some circles with your wrist. If it feels too much to keep your hands above your chest, you can always bend your elbows and circle here by your sides. Maybe you take a few with your hands open, just bringing some organic movement into your wrist joint. And then with hands overhead, palms face in, we're just going to bend those elbows a few times, bringing your hands towards your shoulders, and then reaching them up. About 2 more. And then reach your hands up, palms face in, and give yourself a little hug, crossing one arm over the other. Just kind of hugging yourself, rolling through your back, rounding your shoulders. Inhale, open, and then cross your arms the opposite way. Another little hug here. Inhale, open back up, and exhale. Take one hand down by your side and reach the other overhead. Roll to the side where your arm is overhead, and let the one by your side come to plant in front of your chest, using that to press yourself up. And then we'll come to hands and knees, so you'll just turn under into a tabletop. And if you have sensitive knees, this is a great time to place a blanket or a pillow underneath. And we're going to take a few cat-cows into what I call a spinal jump rope. So for cat-cow, try feeling your shoulders over your wrist and hips over your knees. But if you need to move your hands further away or even come down to forearms at any time to relieve any pain in your wrist, please do so. And as you find your comfortable tabletop position, as you exhale, press away from your mat, letting your spine round. Back of your neck comes a little long as you tuck your tailbone under. As you inhale, lower your belly towards your mat, letting your tailbone tip up. And then draw your shoulders back as the front of your neck comes a bit long. We'll take that again. Exhale, rounding to your cat spine. Inhale, arching to your cow spine. And take one or two more rounds here, just with your breath pace, as small or as large of movements as feel good to you. And then slowly settle in between those two. Now we're going to turn that cat-cow movement into a kind of a jump rope movement by letting our spine come off to either side. So as you exhale, round your spine again. But as you inhale, send it off to the side and then let it come down, looping around to the other side and back. So we get a little into our hips and our side body here. As you inhale down and exhale around and back. And you can take just one direction to start. We'll switch in a few breaths and go the other way. You can bend your elbows if that feels good. Maybe you leave your arms straight. You can make really small circles here or make them pretty big. And when it feels right, just switch directions and take a few the opposite way. Inhaling around and down. Exhaling around and back. And it's another one of those exploring movements, so there's not really a right or wrong here. It's just letting your breath guide the posture as you check in with how things feel. The next time you round your spine, pause here, really pressing away. And then walk your hands back towards your knees, maybe coming down to seated on your heels before transitioning to any comfortable seat for you. And that's where we'll end our practice today. Just 10 minutes focusing on a little bit of maintenance in there, but also getting some strengthening and stretching in for your body to help in the long run. If you enjoyed this practice and you'd like to stay with me throughout this No Pain series, please do subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. That way other people in pain have a great chance to find it as well. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon in another practice. With hands to heart, I'd like to let you know that the light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste.